sorry. From hairstylist to consumer, from hairstylist to client, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm Al Alexander and I want to welcome you to Texture Tea, where we talk about all things texture inside out, educating both the professional and the consumer. Let's dive in. This is my first YouTube video, guys, so I'm extremely nervous. I feel like I'm in front of the camera all the time working, but I'm just super nervous because I've never done a YouTube video before. So if I get a little shaky, y'all forgive me. But anywho, thank you for stopping by. Thank you. First of all, let me just say this. I know a lot of people are probably like, what the hell is Texture Tea and who the hell is Al? So first things first, let me just kind of give you a little backstory to Texture Tea. I wanted to create a platform educating both consumers and professionals with professional education on textured hair, right? I feel like I'm watching YouTube videos all the time. I'm seeing people educate on Instagram, and a lot of times I'm seeing a lot of wrong information float around. And so I'm like, and I mean, I talk about these things in the salon with my clients and amongst my peers, but I'm like, true tea, I mean, the world needs to know. So thank you to all the hairstylists that are out there already educating on these platforms. I'm just here to support y'all, have y'all back, jump behind you, continue to spread the message. Yes, so Texture Tea is definitely a safe place where we can talk about all things texture. If you have questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment box below. It's so many more videos to come behind this one, guys. So I need you to please subscribe. I need you to like this video, and I need you to leave a comment, definitely, so we can keep the content flowing, okay? Second, who is Al Alexander? Well, I am a hairstylist in Chicago. I'm also a Mizani educator and platform artist. I'm also a freelance educator. I literally have like traveled in different countries to educate. So I literally am a texture expert, okay? A texture expert is someone who knows texture in and out, literally in and out. I eat, breathe, sleep texture, no lie. A little bit of my backstory is I loved hair growing up. You know what I'm saying? I come from a hair family. I had aunts and cousins who owned hair salons. And so I was like a shop baby growing up, you know, so to speak. And I was just intrigued by the artistry of it. So I kind of got into it and I started braiding at a very young age. Like I was braiding at like 8 years old. I feel like by the time I was like 14, that's when I started to do extensions. And so like, enough said, like, that's when I fell in love with hair. But I had a hunger for education, and I also had a love for hair, you know what I mean? So, you know, I didn't know what God was manifesting for me, but it literally meshed together and created my life for today. If we go back a little bit, I was working like in my cousin's hood salon, like low key. Shout out to my cousin Chucky. He looked out, gave me a platform to stand on. That was my foundation. So that was me like really stepping into like, I guess, professionalism a little bit. So, you know, shout out to working in my cousin's shop. So I finished cosmetology school because I had to go back to school. You know what I'm saying? I was doing extensions. First of all, it's not legal in the state of Illinois to really be practicing in a salon without a license. So I was bogus. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I knew I was bogus. But I was kind of intimidated because my clients were like, you know, oh, you can do my extensions, but I have to go to somebody else to get my real hair done. So I'm like, whatever. You know? But I knew my message really wasn't going to be effective unless I really went and got the proper education. So fast forward, I go to cosmetology school. Got it. You know, I learned the professionalism inside out. I learned the chemistry of hair, but I still didn't know much about texture, much about my own people. So I was super intrigued when Mizani stepped into Pivot Points to educate us on new products, and I saw artists that looked like me, that spoke the same language as me, that talked about hair like mine and my family's, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, I love Mizani, right? Little did I know, God was connecting me with people. Literally 2 years out of school, I applied to be a Mizani educator. Shout out to my salon owner, Jatan. She put me on, like, come on, apply, help me put together my portfolio and everything. I applied, got the job, and I've been educating for Mizani for about 4 years now. All right, so enough about me. I kind of want to get into some of my objectives for this channel. One was I really wanted to share good information about textured hair, about proper products, about proper routines to women of color, to professionals who work with women with textured hair and women of color, because I know for a fact that we're kind of behind in our time. And I can relate to that. When I was younger, we did everything with relaxers. You know what I mean? I had natural, I'm bald now, but you know what I mean? I had natural hair growing up and I just didn't know how to control it. I was always slicking it back with a ton of product, putting it in ponytails or wearing it braided just because I really didn't know what to do. And I feel like that cycle of life just continues to happen. You know what I mean? And it's really a science behind textured hair. And I know for a fact that the message just hasn't been spread properly. So that's one of my objectives, is to make sure that hairstylists are spreading the proper message and the proper education behind textured hair. Well, my second objective would be to also educate hairstylists, because like I said earlier, when I was in cosmetology school, I knew nothing of texture. It was literally just how to straighten it. You know what I mean? Like everything was centered around straight hair. I had to go above and beyond, spend thousands of dollars and work for like a texture brand for me to, you know, really dive in and become a texture expert. So I know for a fact that, you know, stylists aren't even receiving the proper education around it. So I'm hoping that, you know, by using this YouTube platform, I'm also able to, you know, educate my fellow stylists and, you know, be a liaison and a resource for them, you know, and ultimately to bridge the gap between textured hair stylists and textured hair guests. It is a huge disconnect in that community, which brings me to my next point. I wholeheartedly created this video, my first YouTube video, to give a sincere apology to the textured hair community, because me as a hairstylist, I know a plethora of hairstylists who have failed you and your community. Once we got to a point where, you know, natural hair was becoming a thing, hairstylists literally did not jump on the bandwagon. And I myself can say I was a hairstylist who was like, if I can't do it with a flat iron, now don't get me wrong, I was doing natural girls, but I was still straightening them out on a consistent basis. It was like, if I can't do it with a flat iron, I'm not checking for it. I didn't really have the education to give to girls who wanted to wear their hair curly, you know, and I knew a lot of other hairstylists who just really wasn't checking for it. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I really want to just sincerely apologize to the natural hair community, because y'all didn't deserve that. You know what I'm saying? As beauty changed in our culture, you know, we should have been at the forefront, making sure that we are educating our Black women and women of color on the science behind their hair. Truth be told, we just didn't have that education, and it was a very fearful situation. To the hairstylist, we have to get off of our asses. I know a lot of you who have, and I know a lot of you who do. So one, I want to encourage you to share that message. If you are a hairstylist and you are educated in texture, begin to connect with other hairstylists. Begin to step on platforms and share with Black women and Black consumers and, you know, women of color and even men of color. Start to share that information so that our community can have proper knowledge and live within the authenticity of what we classify as our own beauty. Secondly, for hairstylists that are not highly engaged and that are not properly educated, I really want to encourage you to get off of your ass, take classes. I will leave some links below in this video. Mizani has tons of education on Access. L'Oreal has tons of education on Access. And I do know a lot of independent stylists who have a lot of platforms where they share education around texture. So I will be leaving some videos for professionals only. For example, L'Oreal Access is professional only. So if you are a professional and you want to find that information out, I definitely will be leaving some information down in the comment box for you all, so we can step our game up. You know, make the cookies crumble. If you don't get paid, do what people want you to do. So it's not just gonna be me sitting here talking, guys. It'll be more of me sharing techniques and definitely like getting some heartfelt, you know, texture stories that people can relate to. And one thing that really pushed me to apologize to the natural hair community was I I started to research. I knew I wanted to start this channel because wholeheartedly, y'all, I was pissed. I was really pissed. And I've been pissed for some years. Like, let me just say that. I have been pissed for some years. And I was like, oh my God, all these YouTubers, like, they literally say, like, I'm not a professional, so, you know, blah, blah. And I'm like, you really shouldn't be giving hair advice, you know, if you're not a professional, you know. But I do, like, love the fact that women are sharing, because I do learn techniques and things like that on YouTube. And so I won't lie, I came in a little on the nasty side. And I was like, okay, let me just start researching the playing field. So I started looking. And I started hunting, and I started looking and hunting and hunting and looking. And I was watching all these videos, right? And I'm like, they are sharing some bad information. But I sat there and I said, a lot of the texture hair videos that I'm watching are like my sisters, you know, they black women, you know, women of color. I was like, I cannot get on YouTube and bash these women. So I did not come here for that. I would never. So I had to check myself real quick. Like, you are not about to stand on a global platform and bash black women trying to push through, you know, being oppressed, basically. So I had to check myself like, not gonna happen. Child, so now I start digging. I'm going back into the profiles and I'm looking back and I'm thinking and I'm researching. And one thing that I do know, that pretty much every natural hair influencer that sits on a YouTube platform, I know for a fact that if you dig deep into the surface, they all had a bad salon experience. They all had a bad salon experience. And I'm like, what does that say about us? So it literally turned the mirror on me. And it was like, yeah, you coming to give all this information, but it's like, why is this information even needed? Like, so I had to go back and back and back. And that was what really gauged me to, you know, dedicate this first video to apologizing to the natural hair community, because I'm like, these girls have been scarred. They have been scorned. I empathize with them and I sympathize for them, because just seeing some of the stories, and I don't want to get emotional, but I'm like, just seeing some of the stories that, or hearing some of the stories rather, that these girls have been through, from going into salons and having their hair burnt out, to people sneaking relaxer in their hair, to, you know, pore detangling and it being painful and ripping, people making them shampoo their own hair. Like, the customer service was just terrible. And I'm like, this is why these girls had to start researching on their own. This is why. So I'm like, I'm not here for the beef. You know, I'm like, let me give my hand out to you, sister, because I get where you come from. I've seen my mother and my sisters go through this. And quite frankly, just being honest, I have been a stylist who has had some of those bad practices. So it was just like, come on, G, humble yourself, bring it back down to ground zero, level it out, really see what's going on, and, you know, just try to do what's right. So I'm here to do what's right. Let me get out that soft spot. I am here to do what's right. So let me just say this. If you are not getting where I'm coming from right now, something is wrong. But if you do, please like this video, subscribe, and definitely leave me some questions down in the comment box. What do you want to know? What are you excited about to learn, you know, about texture? What are some of your texture struggles? What are some of the things you want to learn about your own hair? You know what I mean? So definitely leave me some comments down below, subscribe, like my video, and thank you so much. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. From hairstylist to consumer, from hairstylist to client. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Thank you. I love y'all so much, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next video, okay? Because it's going down. Let's go.